like, so, to be extremely professional, even though I talk about eating ass, we're going to talk in a college professor voice.
I'm a bitch, I'm a boss, I'm a bitch and a boss, I'm a shine like gloss.
What's up, guys? I'm Tori.
And I am Caitlin.
And welcome to the Bossed Up Bible.
We are out here today talking about affirmations, how to use them, why they're important, and how they've changed our lives.
Literally, because all this shit becomes your subconscious and your internal monologue. So it's extremely important to focus in and lock in and define what the fuck you want happening in your life.
Yes. So, to start off with, for those of you who do not know what affirmations are.
I'm about to smack that college freaking professor voice up.
It's like, so.
She's like, so, to be extremely professional, even though I talk about eating ass, we're going to talk in a college professor voice.
I'm such a good at eating ass story. I'll tell you that story at Pink Taco. Oh, this story is so funny. It's so bad. But anyways, no eating ass. Sorry, OFTV. I know you don't like when I talk about butt stuff also. So we will be talking about affirmations instead.
Yes.
I actually have had an affirmation once be like, I have a fat, juicy ass. That hasn't worked.
That's a very common female affirmation. We are all on that wave. That's not abnormal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's pretty much every morning I wake up and I'm like, I need to get my ass fatter. I'm so serious.
My ass is genuinely the fattest thing that's ever existed, and that is a nice way to word the affirmation. You know. So anyways, that is an example of a PG. I was like, that is a dumbed down version of how to have an affirmation.
That's
so
like
affirmations
for dummies.
Affirmations for dummies example, my ass is fat and juicy. Anyways, so affirmations are phrases that you use in order to, I guess, reaffirm to yourself exactly the person you want to be.
Well, what I take it back to is like, I heard this concept and I haven't been able to drop it since, is that words are spells because you're spelling.
Oh my God, yes,
So whatever you say is essentially a spell that you're casting for your life and your future. So that's what affirmations and manifesting is defining with your words and spelling out what you want for your future. And I'm sorry if you're religious and you think that I'm a witch now, but I really don't give a single fuck. So I am a witch.
You know what I actually think is the corny as fuck? What I think about it now is like, say like somebody's like uses affirmations or like they speak their, future into existence where they're like, I'm the biggest podcaster in the world or something. And somebody's like, I don't like, actually a perfect example was the Nelk boys talking about Jake on their podcast saying, like it's so crazy how Jake walks around saying like, I am the biggest boxer or I am blah, 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 like all this stuff. And they're like, can he like fucking relax or whatever? And I wanted to like argue with them in the comments and be like, dude, like the guy is just fantastic at manifestation. If he keeps on saying it and he keeps on believing it and he keeps acting and showing up as that person, he will be exactly that.
Well, also I take it back to, at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, why the fuck should anyone else believe in you? Like if you don't think that you're going to be number one at someone or number one at something or the best at something or your business is going to be successful truly, then like why would you have an investor? And that's when I take it back to even being a person and believing in yourself. Like if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else believe in you?
Exactly. So I think that affirmations have played a really important role in both of our lives because I used to have like very, very bad depression and it comes in and out sometimes, like obviously we all have that little devil on our shoulders that like tries to be like, you're not shit. But I think the reason we have to we have to use affirmations is because at the end of the day we're gonna go outside into the real world
and it's gonna try to tell us who the fuck we are.
People are gonna nag in our ears. And I remember actually a few weeks ago I was super high and I had this thought because my healer always tells me that I need to meditate and I need to meditate more, and I used to meditate for hours a day, and like it was like making me like lose concept of reality because I was meditating too much. So then
I did that during COVID though. That was kind of fire. I just took a bunch of shrooms and would like meditate for like 6-7 hours and fall asleep and like wake up and meditate again.
I mean, I definitely do things
dead,
like that now, like when I'm like high and stuff. But but I used to do it sober, right? And I used to be such an interesting character. I was so happy, like, because I was so unbothered by everything.
Yeah.
And I was, like, sober and, like, all this stuff. And I remember being like, I just don't think I'm ever going to touch alcohol or a drug ever again, because I was just so thrilled about life, you know? And I was, like, manifesting everything, and it was awesome.
It's like something traumatic happens, and it throws you off that, and then you're back.
Exactly.
So
that's exactly what happened. So,
feel it.
Anyways, I think that I had this thought a few weeks ago, where meditating, especially meditating and affirmations are very important in the morning, because when you wake up in the morning, technically you remind yourself who the fuck you are. You wake up in your body, you wake up in your house, you have these things that...
I just think of like Avatar, the movie, like the morning comes and you wake up in your avatar body and now you gotta do shit. Like,
yeah, so I guess because like even now, like it's weird to even say this, but I've had to like do a lot of realization and self-reflection on...
you were Kylie realizing things?
Like,
we're just all, we're just realizing things.
Dude, but I literally had to realize, like, who I am, you know what I mean, and what I look like, because I tell you all these crazy fucking stories, and I'm, like, shocked. And everybody's like, you're shocked that someone did that to you, and you act the way you act?
Literally.
It's like, of course people are staring at you. You know, like...
But, like, you go out in a bra usually, like a see-through bra and jeans to the club with heels, and your personality is crazy, and then you find a creature, and then you talk to him and entertain him, and then you're surprised that the creature, like, wants to come home with you.
I mean, well, considering
when
also,
you've pet your toad all night, and you're surprised that it's following you.
Well, I mean, because sometimes even when it's, like, even when I look fucking atrocious, I'm always like, yeah, whatever, I'll tell this person a story, and then all of a sudden my Uber's trying to abduct me, you know? Or like that type of shit. Like, so I'm always just confused, but then I realize I have a very specific energy that, like, I attract a lot of people regardless if I like them or not. But a lot of people have a tendency to like me unless they have a reason not to like me. And but then it's funny because actually going back to affirmations, I don't know if I said this in one of the last episodes. I feel like I did. But one of my affirmations used to be, I want to be hot and I want to be rich. Or I am hot, I'm rich. And those exact things happened, and I remember being like, damn, I asked for this, you know? But affirmations, I think, are super important, because I switch my affirmations around actually a lot in accordance to, like, what's going on in my life, you know? One of my favorite affirmations that I actually had a really good time with was, my first actual favorite affirmation is, I attract the people to me that serve my highest good, and everybody else falls off. And every time, it's like literally mayhem.
Well, I feel that's kind of like my like two favorite manifestations, and I just manifested and did hella affirmations last night coming into the new moon today. One of my favorite ones is I have the capacity to accept all the things that I'm manifesting for myself. And I think that's like a super important one. Because a lot of times what we get caught up in and why we don't get what we're manifesting is because we truly believe either A, we don't deserve it, or we don't have the space for it. And that is one of the things that I like to make very clear. And I say always, like, I'm abundant in romantic love and I'm abundant in platonic love, because at the end of the day, like, everything comes from love. That's like where everything should stem from. That's where you should only speak to people out of love. You should only make your actions should only be out of love. Like, so at the end of the day, if you're asking to be an abundance of love and to receive an abundance of love, that just keeps that cycle going of giving and receiving it. So those are like two things I always really try to like ask for and focus on. And then of course there's like my health, the health of my loved ones, like all that normal ass shit. Then there's like my big one also, financial freedom and multiple streams of passive income, and like all the things that basically like set my life up to be the happiest that it's going to be, and like most productive and the most healed and like whole. So if you're manifesting those things and you're really focusing on that every day, then there's absolutely no reason that you shouldn't be heading a little bit closer in that direction every single day.
So actually one of the manifestations that I've been using recently is because this is one of the things that really holds me back from getting a lot of things done, is the fact that I can't forgive myself for a lot of things. You know, so I have literally pages written down. I am forgiving myself. I forgive, because I think that a lot of times, for example, when things aren't going the way for example, in a situation where I put my heart and soul into something and then it doesn't work out the way I want it to. I hold a lot of weight in the sense of what could I have done better, or how could I have showed up differently, or how could I have treated that person differently. Like, actually, a perfect example, like my ex, like I hold a lot of hate. Like I can't forgive myself for the fact that I should have done this one thing that one time that like he needed, you know what I mean? And like realizing that
maybe everything would have been different.
And it's not even about that. I think it was more like I knew that that's what destroyed him, you know? And I think that it made me realize that I was like, damn, I was like, I feel really bad about that, you know? And I feel bad about all the times I've done like crazy things, thinking that like that was the answer or whatever. And it's crazy because my healer always brings it up too, where he's like, it's not like you like him. He's like, you just can't forgive yourself for how you acted. And
you're trying to
make up for it. He's like, so you try so hard to like be this other type of person, but you can't get rid of that thought that you did that, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, and at the end of the day, you have to forgive yourself, because you know what? You didn't know better at the time. And also like in that situation specifically, like it's like he was going to destroy himself anyways. It wasn't my fault. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that
it takes two to tango. It takes two traumatized people to continue to traumatize each other. Like at the end of the day, if he was more healed also, it wouldn't have been as traumatic for him.
Exactly. So like, and I think that, you know, me reminding myself to forgive myself is something so simple, you know, because I think that we all have these pasts that some of us are not very proud of, you know, but I don't think that, and I think that sometimes I think that my past should be determinative of who I am now, you know. Yeah. But I think also a lot of people see where I am now and knew me a year or two ago and are like, how the fuck did you get there? And they're like, you used to be like this, and this. And I was like, because I released that identity, that was me.
Yeah.
I said, no, I don't feel like being that person anymore. And actually, affirmations were the things that got me to where I was, is because I was like, I will show up as my best self. That actually was my affirmation over the past few days, is because I knew I was like really bummed, you know, where I was like, I will show up for myself today. I will try my best and I will be present in what we're doing, because being present is a part of the journey. And I think that a lot of times, especially when you're, you know, constantly moving around or there's a lot of shit going on, it's very hard to be present with the people that are around you, or present in what you're doing.
To check out.
You know, exactly. So I think that affirmations are a good way to, like, one, remind yourself who you are, two, also be firm in who you are, because the thing is, you're gonna go outside and somebody's gonna say something to you like that you're not that, or you're not shit, or you're ugly,
or you are this
or whatever. And then that's the other thing, is it's crazy because I know there's so many people that like love to gas me up. They're like, you're killing it, like you're the GOAT, like you're blah blah. And it's so weird to me because I've been like, I don't feel like that, you know. And then it's funny because then when I remind myself, oh right, yes, like I am a good person, you know, I am good, I care about others, I love to my best ability, I'm showing up 1% better every single day. And I realize that, like, with that thought in mind, like, no, I'm not perfect, but yes, I've tried my best to do those things, and I am, like, it's brought me a long way, you know.
Yeah, I always think about it, it's just like, you can't expect to run an entire marathon in 30 seconds, but each step you take while you're running puts you closer and closer to the finish line. So like every day, it's just like your job as a person to take at least one step.
You know,
just pick your foot up, just put any little movement any small movement in the direction of your future is a movement in the right direction.
I think that is very true. And I think also by affirming certain things, you know, like saying I am, like for me, like one of my biggest thing used to always be like I am a huge serial entrepreneur, or like I'm a huge content creator. And it was weird because I remember when I used to have these things written down, there was not a single piece of proof that I could do any of those things. And I thought I was crazy, you know, that I wanted those things. And I realized that because it was something that was so stuck in my brain.
That's what everything you did from that point on moved
me in that direction.
Exactly, moves the needle a little bit further in that direction. So that's why, like, think about most of the shit that you do every day. Like, you're doing it every day because you're reminded of it every day. Like, you're on Instagram all the time because you're used to getting notifications and used to something always being there and used to something new. So if you're every day reminding yourself about that thing that you thought was a hobby, but you actually love it and you want to do it with the rest of your life, you're going to be thinking about every day, like, okay, like, oh, my friend invited me out to do this, but, you know, like, I really actually want to finish that, like, book that I've been writing, and I know I have, like, a full-time job, but instead of going out this Friday night, I'm going to stay home and write another chapter of my book, because I remember this morning I wrote, like, even though I might not have time, like, I want to at least try to focus some time on writing my book. And it's like that. You may not have thought of that if you hadn't written your morning affirmations. You may have just gone out and done that shit. Like, you have to remind yourself what your goals are, especially if you're someone that's an entrepreneur and you're your own boss. Like, that is
so
important. If you are a freaking entrepreneur and you're your own boss, I don't know how you've gotten anywhere without having affirmations, because that is the only thing that reminds me what the fuck I'm supposed to do in a day. Like, that is it.
And also, like, I had to explain that to my parents too, where I was like, listen, like, every day I have to wake up as myself. You know, I wake up as me. I wake up with depression. I wake up like, what the fuck am I doing here? And then I have to remind myself every day, I got this. I am great. I am
healthy. I am wealthy. I am rich. I am that bitch. Like, literally, I love that song.
I always have to remind myself the type of person that I want to show up as in the world. Because I think that, you know, like, you look around, and I know there's a lot of people that look at us and they're like, they're, you know, like, they're either stuck up or unfriendly or whatever, all this stuff. But a lot of times the people are judging us are the people that are not doing as much as us.
Well, it's all coming from unhealed position.
So that's the thing is, and I think I realize is, I'm like, I deserve to be here, because at the end of the day, I did the fucking work. I was like, and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and like, even at things that like were not anywhere close to things that should have been possible, you know? And I think it was like that firm belief in myself that, you know, from like years of saying affirmations, I used to have affirmations all over my wall, you know, like, things like my passwords to accounts are literally all just different things that I want.
I have, like,
you
manifest,
know,
blah blah.
Yeah,
blah,
so it's like,
that.
And it's crazy because I remember I just knew that if I were to tell myself I were these things, even if I didn't believe them, one day I would wake up and say, you know what, I am the GOAT, or I am good at what I do, or I am showing up in the world a way that I want to be perceived, you know? Yeah. And I think especially as an entrepreneur, you're only battling yourself half the day. Like, that's literally all it is.
That's the whole damn day.
Like, it's like you're battling and I think that's why it gets hard, and I guess this is why I get so hard on myself, is because I'm like, there's only so much time in the day. I have so many things I need to do. I could be doing more, I could be doing this or whatever, but like a lot of times as an entrepreneur, there's like actually a billion different things you could be doing. And you know what I mean? And
bro, that's literally like last night, it was like a huge deal for me. I was like, I'm going to cook myself dinner. Like, I'm not going to order in. I'm not going to go pick it up. I'm going to cook myself dinner. And literally, I'm sitting at my laptop, like, doing things, answering emails. I literally look at Janice and I'm like, in 15 minutes, I'm going to cook myself dinner. Like, I need to get up in 15 minutes. Like,
That's hilarious because I was about to bring you guys dinner and then I lost it.
18 minutes passed and I was like, oh my God, like
it was God telling her she had to cook it herself.
I'm like, I need to cook myself dinner. I need to like do this thing for myself. Like I need to take this me time and not just sit on my laptop and eat fucking trail mix and string cheese tonight. Like that is not the vibe.
Yeah, so I realized that too because I do the same fucking shit. Like literally
Fall
yesterday.
asleep with your fucking laptop in your face.
Oh my
like
God,
I've
dude.
done that so many times. There've been so many times that I've woken up with like TV blasting, my dog looking at me like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And I'm like on my laptop with my phones next to me.
I fell asleep sitting up with my laptop in my lap last night, typing an email. And it was like hilarious because I told someone that I was going to send them the email this morning. He's like, where's the email? And I'm like,
I fell asleep
still in my lap. Not written. And it was halfway written and I was like, let me finish it. And it was funny because I was like, damn, I was spitting some facts last night in this email. And I remember being like, I should go to sleep. But I was like, but I gotta finish this email. And it was,
I've done that so many
times.
And
it's just funny too because, what was I gonna say? Oh, I mean, yeah, like, because my parents ask me this all the time. They're like, why do you have an inability to do anything but like sit on your computer? Or my sister said the same thing.
Yeah,
all you do is sit on your computer. And I'm like,
you know, I'm making money here.
I was like, because I have things that like I want to chase and I have goals that I want to make.
And they're all here.
And the thing is also a lot of them, like, I know that they're all possible. So that makes me so much more motivated is because I'm this fucking close.
And then you also bring it back to like, bro, this house is this house is the internet. And that means that anything that anyone has ever learned and made a video about learning, you can type it into Google and you will get a full fucking rundown. My brother calls it YouTube Academy. You can learn fucking anything on YouTube, I swear to God. So you mean to tell me that, like, if I sit on this computer all day, the shit that I could just learn, just the shit that I could just learn alone, then you go into, like, books where it's like, okay, someone that writes a book is writing a book based on 30 years of knowledge that I can digest in 3 hours on Audible. Dude. So that's 30 years of knowledge in a 3-hour span of an Audible book of me, like, driving to fucking Vegas. Like, are you kidding me? So why would I not be on my phone and on my laptop all the time? That is the quickest connection that I have to a vast amount of knowledge and to bettering my future at the most accelerated rate possible. So yeah, I do sit at my fucking computer all the goddamn time. All the time. I'm on my computer and I have my 2 phones next to me and on my TV I have Pat Flynn playing. Like that's what's happening.
Yesterday I was at a bar and I literally had a computer and 2 phones out. And I literally was like, I look crazy. Because I was like having a meeting in my, it was like right before I went to your house. I was having a meeting on my phone. Then I had my computer out. Then I had my other phone out. And like people are just like, it's a bar. And I'm literally like, please like get this shit done. Like I was literally sitting there and it's crazy to me too. That like, well, I mean, my brain is programmed that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, my affirmations are, I relax. No, that's not one of my affirmations, but it should be. My healer would probably tell me that.
No, it should be. I take space for my
for
self
my mental health.
and for my mental health when I need to. It's not like I relax. It's like when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I take the time away from work for my mental health that I know I need to take so I don't burn out.
Exactly. I actually got the other day when we were at Walmart. I got these 2 reflection journals, and one of them was like, how am I feeling today? And like that day I was so mad. I was like, mad, blah blah blah, like
mad,
like whatever. And then it was funny because I filled out that journal, and then the next journal was it's just all questions. So it's like the quote, it was a quote at the bottom, and it said something about how at the end of the day, you could be around a lot of people, but at the end of the day, the only person that's going to get the things that you want done is you. So it's like, you're the one that has to chase your dreams, whatever, you know, all this stuff. And it was like, how does this quote make you feel? And I literally was like sitting there thinking, I was like, wow, like, that is a good fucking point, you know? And so now I'm like journaling, and I was like, like blah blah blah, and then I like took out another journal, and I kept on going with that thought, and I was kind of like, wow, like this is extremely reflective on how I feel, because it's like, okay, we're talking about dreams. I'm constantly like, I'm following my dreams, and then sometimes I actually am like, why can't I be a regular girl? You know what I mean? That like doesn't
aspire to that.
That doesn't aspire to take over the fucking world, where they're just like, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, like I'm excited for fucking whatever on Friday night, the 3 hours at the local bar. I'm not into that shit, you know? Like, I'm one of those people where I'm like, I am so stoked to build the things that I want to build with the people I fucking care about, you know? And like, I want us all to have a good life where we can all just fucking ball together, you know?
Fuck off a whole week and just go to fucking Turks and Caicos because we want to. Like.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's crazy because a lot of people even judge the fact that I've made it where I've made it.
Well, that's because it's like, if I stop believing in myself and stop believing that I could be a concert pianist, then why the fuck, and had to be a lawyer, then why do you get to believe that you can do what you want to do? And obviously it didn't work for me, so why would it work for you? What makes you any better than me? So that's why you don't talk about big dreams to small people.
Oh my, dude, like seriously, and I think that's why I've like really reduced my circle to like you people. It's because my dreams are absurd. You know, like even when I'm like working with people that like one of my old assistants, I used to tell her every day, I want to be this iconic, right? And she'd be like, okay, I get it. You say this every day. And I was like, and I have it written down in a million places. I was like, and I need you to understand that is who I want to be. So
that's what we're working towards.
If you're not helping me work toward that goal, then get the fuck out of my face. Because I was like, honestly, it is one thing for me to believe in myself, but if I'm working with people that also don't believe in me, what the actual fuck am I? I was like, that is just, you might as well go talk to the small-minded strangers outside, you know?
Well, that's like bar chat and shit. Like, I can't do that.
Oh my god, the bar chat's the worst.
So like, oh, what's the weather? Like, oh, what are you drinking? Like, oh, well, I thought that Kettle One was this. Like, that stupid, like, topical conversation, small talk shit. Like, I've never been able to do that.
You probably don't know that many people with 9 to 5s, but if you ever
well,
hear
that's
the
my
people
thing
with 9
is,
to 5s,
you
man.
can see it. You can see the light
plague
drained from my face when you start having those conversations with me. Like, I want to talk about fucking aliens and crystals and how acupuncture is like healing emotional trauma and physical trauma at the same time, and things that actually interest me and like light me up and I want to have a conversation about. But like, to kill 5 minutes talking to you just because you're standing next to me, like, I'd rather be silent and reflective in my day. Like,
oh my god, actually, well, I think that's why I fucking hate going outside. It's like, you know, because I'm like, damn, if I'm inside, I'm either with my friends or I'm with...
Like, I'm in my own space with my dog in my room that I got all the things that make me feel fire in and, like, are spiritually aligning to me, and I only allow people into my space that I want to have in my space, and if you call me or text me and I don't want that energy, I don't have to answer. Like, that's the beauty of being on the inside. Like, when you're out in the public, you could run into someone you don't want to see. That could affect your whole energy. Like, there's so many things that can affect your energy that if you haven't mastered the art of like protecting your energy, you have to stay inside. Like, that's just what I'm so serious. Like, and as shitty as it is, like, that's just what it is. So you should be doing everything you can to heal yourself, because not everyone can just stay inside.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're not going to be on lockdown, on quarantine again. Like, unfortunately, like, that's when I really went through my whole discovery of like, I need fucking boundaries and I need to heal the trauma that I have, because like, I've never been the type of person where it's like I'm a substance abuse person, but I was definitely filling a lot of my time with like a lot of, not that the people were vapid, but my relationship with them was vapid. They're the type of people that if it wasn't like a hit up about a party or about like some good ass time, like if I was actually upset or like sad, like I knew they would not be there. So that is one of my affirmations, was to stop doing things that weren't emotionally fulfilling for me. And that included people who weren't emotionally fulfilling for me. And once I wrote that down, a lot of people like
fucked off.
Yeah,
no, actually, it's so funny.
I did that. Between doing that, I wrote that in a journal that why did I do this? Like, why did I go through this point in my life where on my manifestation journal, I was putting a fucking chunk of argonite? Why would I do that? Argonite is just as fucking aggressive
as fucked up as my,
the one that you were talking about.
Oh my God, that shit's crazy.
Like, literally, argonite is the type of shit that if something or someone needs to leave your life, that's finna happen real quick. It will turn your shit upside down, and you will not even.
Moldavite literally turned my life upside down. But it was like
it's
in
so
such a, it was in a good way. I went through a complete ego death when I got it, and it was crazy because it made me realize, like, okay, so with nothing, like, you know, like, because like the thing is really things, material things.
Oh, that's nothing.
No, I know it's nothing, but the thing is, like, a lot of times people like to define themselves by the things they have, you know? And in that moment, it was like, okay, how does it feel to have nothing besides yourself, you know? And, like, to have to really face that, all you really have is yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And having to realize that, like, if I am stuck with myself all the fucking time, I better fucking like myself.
Literally, so many people don't like themselves. And I'm like, how do you expect anyone else, to like you?
And those are the people that suck. The people that suck the most are the ones that are constantly around people. I'm like, damn. Like, I'm like, the plague. Get the fuck out of my face, dude. And, like, I can't with that stuff. So, actually, one of my affirmations that I had back, oh my God. I remember when I was so mad about my last podcast. I was in a healing session and I was fucking mad. And I was like, all I want in my life is for this to go the fuck away. I was like, please, fire me. Just fire me. I was like, I want to be fired. I want nothing to do with it. I was like, I want nothing to do with those people. And I was like, all I want is people that fucking fuck with me, support me, and, you know, genuinely want to be around me and care about me as a person. And the next day, the podcast was gone. And then the friends I was left with was Tori.
That's kind of like when I left New York, dude. When I left New York, like, it's even a thing where people make fun of it. Like, they're like, because my parents just moved out here. So everyone's like, oh, like, but you still go back to visit friends. Yeah, I'm like, no. They're like, well, do they come out here? I'm like, no. And they're like, who?
Like, I would hope not.
I'm like, the one friend that, like.
Janice is here.
Yeah, Janice is here. And that was my friend that I made move out here. That was the only person that, like. When I left New York, I made a very clear decision. I made the very clear decision. So I was always the person like, okay, it's summer break. I'm going to hit up all my friends and like make sure we stay connected. Like, okay, like this is happening. I'm going to hit up everyone. I'm going to make sure everyone stays connected. I'm going to make sure like this person is like checked on. And when I moved from New York to LA, it was just such a traumatic time for me of like literally uprooting my entire life. I'm born and raised Manhattan, like moving out of my parents' house, like moving in just with my siblings, like whole life uprooting. I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna text anyone that doesn't text me first. That's just like, I'm the type of person that I'm always that person that's like, even if you don't answer, I'm like, hey, like I know you didn't answer last time, but like this is happening tonight. Like I can't take on that emotional weight of being there for everyone right now. So unless you text me first, I'm not gonna just come out of the blue and text you. And the amount of people that were like, oh, you got so Hollywood, like you changed up on me. I'm like, I left and you stayed in the same spot. You didn't go through anything traumatic in your life. You didn't think to check on me. You think we're such good friends. You didn't think, hey, Tori, you know how you moved across the country and had to make all new friends and completely start your life over? How was that? Are you okay?
And they're concerned about like their regular things.
Regular shit was just like, that's fine, but it's like I was going through something so huge in my life at that point that I couldn't hold space for other people and their shit. So I needed someone to genuinely check on me for me to be able to like be in that like conversation with them, because I was always the person that, like, when you have a problem, I'm that person that will listen. I'm that shoulder to cry on. I'm that ear. I'm that pep talk. Like, I've always been that person, but I've had to learn through, like, going through certain things in my life that there's a certain time where you can't hold space for other people like that. And not only that, but you're going to have to lean on other people for the space that you've been holding for them for so long. And that was just, like, one of my huge wake-up calls, is, like, people that are in your life sometimes when you start setting more important boundaries for yourself and start holding higher standards for yourself and being more healed and not accepting certain traumatic things and not conforming to certain behaviors that you used to conform to. There are a lot of people that will get pissed the fuck off because they took advantage of the fact that you had no boundaries. And, like, and it's not always on purpose. Like, that's one thing. Like, don't villainize people that do that, because there are some people who it's a trauma-based response to take advantage of someone because they always felt like they were taken advantage of. So now they're the first one in line all the time, and they're the first one to get the thing because they want to choose first because they were the youngest and they got the last choice all the time. So now they want to be the first one to choose everything. Like, everyone's coming from a different position and a different traumatic situation in their life. So when you take it back to that situation, you're just like, oh wow, like, that completely changes everything that I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I went abroad, it was like that. You know what I mean? Where, like, I went abroad and I was miserable. Because I was like, not only do I have to make new friends, I'm in a place I don't fucking know anybody. Nobody even speaks English, you know? And all of a sudden, people just assumed because I was living the dream. I lived in Europe, you know? That I must be fucking great. You know,
and you're doing great, and you always look so like you're on top of the world.
And it was funny as fuck because
I'm like, yeah, because I might jump.
Dead ass. I was like, please put me out of here. But it was crazy because that made me so angry because I was the same person. I was the person that was there for everybody.
Yeah.
And I disappeared. I went abroad, and all of a sudden everybody kind of, not like, they acted like they forgot about me. So what did I do? Changed my phone number, deleted all my social media, and said, well, good luck. And everyone's like, I can't believe you were that petty. And I was like, well, you know what? At that moment,
I needed a new beginning.
I was like, I was so upset that I really wanted to be with my friends, or I wanted my friends to care about me.
Yeah.
And I was like, the fact that they can't even do anything more than watch my Snap story and not even respond. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
that's when you're like, yo, like,
are we actually
friends? Because, like, I'm like, we were like family, and then all of a sudden you can't even, like, ask me how I'm doing. So then I was like, yo, fuck it, revoke privilege,
literally,
goodbye,
revoke access to my
like,
energy.
You literally can't even contact me. I literally was like, email me, text my mom, I don't know, like, I literally was like, fucking figure it out. Like, there's some way you'll be able to contact me if you need me, but clearly you've shown that you didn't need me, you know, like. And then it's like, you're gonna text me when you're panicked about something, and it's like,
there's just shit you should, like, you never want to have to say. That it's like, I should never have to say, like, I want you to care about me, like, genuinely as a friend. Like, that should never have to be a conversation that you have with someone, you know? Like,
I was like, I've had that conversation with someone before. I want you to ask me how my day is. And then I was like, okay, well, have a good one.
Because that's the thing, like, you can get into a whole fucking psychological warfare situation when it comes to, like romantic relationships. So when it comes to platonic relationships, like, bro,
I want my friends to just be my friends. I'm, like, really not trying to beef with anyone. You know, because I'm like, dude, I have my own issues. The last thing I want to do is go outside and have problems.
Well, no, that's the thing, is you have so many problems outside. Why would I invite the problems into my house?
That's true.
And, like, if you're my friend and I'm inviting you into my safe space,
dude, that's actually
don't bring that bullshit to my home, man.
Oh,
my dog will fuck you up, and he
True.
weighs 7 pounds, and he'll still fuck you up. You'll be shook as hell. I don't even care.
That is true. And Jupiter doesn't fuck around.
Jupiter does not fuck around. Jupiter is a Sagittarius. He is named after the planet that is ruling his chart. So this man is This man is in his element at all times. He has the biggest personality, and I swear to God, it's because I
Jupiter
named
has
him
some
that.
big dick energy for his size.
7-pound dog will run up on you like he's a goddamn pit bull. Like, bro, you can be kicked, and it would hurt.
Jupiter's like affirmations are, I have a big cock.
7 pounds all dick.
Literally, bro. He's so funny, though. He's such a cute little thing. I'll talk about him for 7 years if you let me, so let me not.
Yeah, I hear like affirmations. My dog loves me. Anyone want to hear a funny story about Tori's dog? So
KAITLEN's about to.
Oh, this is a great story. Just to lighten the mood for a second.
41 minutes,
So
by the way.
Tori's dog is named Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
And Jupiter has his own Instagram.
Mr. Pooh.
Mr. Pooh. So when I knew that I was going to like Tori, when I knew that she called her dog Mr. Pooh.
It's Jupiter the Poopeter.
Because that's funny as fuck, because I feel like people try to act like they don't think poop jokes are funny, and you're lying if you don't.
Well, the way he got Jupiter the Poopeter was actually when I first got him. I was traveling a lot, so like everyone else was watching him, and he had like a very shy pooping problem where like he would go like hide and
shy
poop.
like your boyfriend?
Literally. So when I got home, Janice was like, his name is Jupiter the Poopeter because like we always find him like hiding and pooping.
Wait, that's hilarious. Anyways, so to make this funnier, when I saw Tori had an Instagram for her dog.
I do, yes.
Tori,
the Poopeter.
so Tori basically, she gives me Legally Blonde vibes, where she would,
I was platinum blonde at this time.
like, and she like would carry her dog in like a bag and shit.
I still do that. I'm just brunette now.
And so I was like, this girl gives me fucking
Paris Hilton vibes.
Paris Hilton vibes, where she walks around
That's hot.
with her dog in the bag, and she always, on all the posts of this goddamn dog, it would say #Chihuahuas of Instagram.
You gotta grow his account, you know.
Dude.
I'm trying to get dog deals.
The dog fully does not look like a Chihuahua. The dog is not a Chihuahua. I don't know what the fuck this girl was on, but
I got him off Craigslist and they told me he was a Chihuahua.
So #Chihuahuas of Instagram. All of a sudden, one day, there's a post, and she goes, found out Jupiter is not a Chihuahua. And
I got him DNA tested, and he was only he was 30% Chihuahua, 30% Yorkie, like 20% Pomeranian, and then 10% of something else.
And then all of a sudden, she's like, #mixed dogs of Instagram. She's like mixed like
Switch
her
up.
mom. Like, and it's like the hilarious, it was the funniest thing, because I brought that up to Tori. I was like, I don't think anybody's ever called you out for this, but
Your dog wasn't a Chihuahua.
your dog was fully not a Chihuahua, and the fact that you were convinced it was a Chihuahua, you drained it down people's throats that your dog was a Chihuahua, and then all of a sudden you're mixed like your mom.
Yep.
That was her firm way of acting like she did not fully think her dog was a Chihuahua.
I mean, I genuinely thought that, like...
Did you affirm
we
you
were
wanted
trying
a
to
Chihuahua?
figure out what type of... No, not even, like... Honestly, the way I got Jupiter was my brother was being hella specific about what type of dog that he wanted, and he wanted his dog to look like Scrappy-Doo from Scooby-Doo.
Your
And
family's so funny.
that literally...
Clowns.
We were supposed to share a dog. So, like, because especially this was before COVID, I was traveling, like, 20 days out of the month. So for maybe 10 days, and I'm talking about, like, I would land and be back on the next plane the next morning for the next influencer trip. Like, I was not home. So my deal with Riley was supposed to be, when I'm gone, you take care of the dog and I'll cover everything financially, because I'm making bank, like, I'm flying around, like, I have to leave my dog somewhere. Like, I can't really be a parent of a dog right now, but I want one. I know that, like, that's just a better deal for us. So we get there. Well, first of all, before we even get there, like, he's going through all these dogs. We're going on all these adoption websites. Nothing. They don't want to adopt to us. So where do we go? Craigslist. Haha. So he's scrolling through all the photos, looking. He finds one that he likes.
You manifest a dog.
Oh, I was heavily manifesting a dog, but I didn't.
What did the dog look like on your mood board?
To be completely honest, it was a small dog that could fly around with me and fit in a purse. And
so you got that. It's fine.
I got exactly what I wanted, but I didn't
ask for a Chihuahua.
I didn't like see the picture of him and I was like, that's my dog, you know? Like, I literally, Riley chose and he was like, that's our dog. Like, he did all the work. He's like, we're going to get it. So we show up there. We're both sitting on like the steps. We're in the hood of LA, like definitely the hood.
Across
definitely.
the street from a gas station.
It was very nerve-wracking. I did not know we were going there. Very unaware of the situation. Riley did all the work. We get there, there's 3 puppies, and we're sitting on the steps, and when I tell you, like, they open the fucking gate for the little dogs to, like, come out and, like, meet us. When I tell you Jupiter ran at me and jumped into my lap, I was like, this is my dog. This is my dog.
This is my dog.
And then slowly out of the cage, walking all fancy and slow, stretching, is Harlem. And Riley goes,
and that is my dog.
but I like that one. And I'm like, well, I like this one. So then, like, after about a 25-minute argument, we decided to take Jupiter. And when I tell you we were standing right outside the house and got into a blowout argument about who was going to hold the dog in the Uber.
Halfway to the car.
I was
halfway to the car.
We can't even agree on who's going to hold the fucking dog in the Uber. You think we're going to co-parent a dog? Like, there's absolutely no way. So when I tell you we went right back and we bought Harlem and then we left and went home, that's how we wound up with 2 dogs. You're supposed to have 1.
Yeah, you guys are the doghouse. I have to share this thought because Janice, I'm about to embarrass you a little bit.
She said,
The other day, Janice was talking about how she was high as fuck. Maybe it was your brother. Oh, your brother was thinking about how he was high as fuck the other day and was like, did you guys realize that all dogs are twins?
Oh, no, this was... It was
What?
a conversation we were having.
So the thought of
triplets,
that all these
quadruplets,
dogs are triplets,
yes.
quadruplets, and all this stuff. And it was funny because
Mind-boggling.
they went on like this whole thing talking about it. And if you really think about it, imagine people were all like
your mom had like a litter.
like 10
Litters.
of us. There was like 10 of me. It'd be fucking weird. And I feel like it'd be
Yo.
hilarious because I already have like multiple personalities. So like if
It's because they
there
all
was
get compacted into
army.
one. Like, think about it. We don't really know. Like, maybe more eggs make it there, and that's all the personalities. We just eat all of them in the womb.
Dude, I always think about myself in a parallel universe.
Well, like
Do you ever think about
all
yourself
the time.
in a parallel universe? I live in New York. I know it. Like, there's some version of me that lives in New
In
York.
a parallel universe, I am like a Southern housewife that makes like sweet tea.
Also, wait, guys, I don't know if it's all the weed I smoke or all the shrooms I take, but
One of the two, or maybe a
I've
combo.
been thinking a lot about how I do a fuck ton of timeline jumping, like a disgusting amount of it, and it's so funny because I realize it now where I'm like shit's different out here.
Out here.
I was like, it's weird in here, but
That's why I feel like I'm living in fucking.
I'm fully living in a simulation. I don't know what.
The Truman Show is literally. I'm like, bro, that shit was broken.
When I was a kid, I dead ass thought that we were literally in the Spy Kids movie.
Have you done like any rando nodding?
No, what's that?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's basically like there's an app that you can do it in. So there's the theory that like
48 minutes.
everything that you encounter in your life is based on a timeline that was set up for you. Like even there's no coincidence, there's no chance.
I
Very
fully
like
believe
the
that, yeah.
Matrix. So when you rando not, what it's supposed to be doing is taking coordinates from a location that you would never ever be at. And like kind of taking you to see like holes in the Matrix because it's like someone else's timeline or like a timeline that you would never be a part of. So like you're like, whoa, I would never see this part of like anything because it's not in any like scenario that would be run for my timeline, you know? Like,
Dude, that's crazy because actually, speaking of, since we're talking about crazy shit now, literally when I did my past life
this is why I
regression,
can't do small talk.
when
man.
I did my past life regression, I lived in Amsterdam, right?
Mhm.
I didn't live in Amsterdam. I lived in America. But, like, I lived in Amsterdam in my past life. And when I actually went to Amsterdam,
You
I
knew
got
things.
there and I was like, this place looks familiar. And it feels familiar. It feels like home for some reason. And I cried for a whole day straight there because I have a lot of trauma there in my past life. So I just cried hysterically. I had to leave the country early. And it was crazy because it was one of those things like, I know this place. I know it here. I don't know why. And this place makes me so upset. But I had a birth chart reading one day. And I was after I came back from abroad. And so there's points on your birth chart where like there's locations where your heart is.
Mm-hmm.
My heart is in California and it is in Amsterdam.
That's crazy.
Right?
But that's even crazier because literally I came out here the first time when I was 13. And when I tell you I got to LA, even further back, like The second I found out what the fuck was up in LA and that's where all the creatives were that were following their dreams, I was like, that's where I'm supposed to be. Then I came out here when I was 13 and I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And literally everything from that moment on was like me trying to get to LA. So I probably, if I looked at that shit, it would probably say the same thing for me too. But it's funny you say shit like that because then you have, it's like, the way that my boyfriend and I met was like so aggressive and so fucking instantaneous. When I tell you, like, I met him and I felt like I already knew him, like, literally I met him and I felt like I already knew him. And I've talked to multiple.
Oh my God, I have so many people.
I've had so many readings. We're twin flames. Like,
oh no, dude, I don't even want to get into that. I'll talk to you about that later. But you know,
like, I don't like mine.
I hate mine, and I have to get a lot of help for it. So I was like, but yeah, like it's weird when you think about that type of stuff because I definitely trust that kind of energy, you know, where like you end up like, cause I think about the same thing. Like, I don't know how I ended up in California, you know?
Yeah.
I it's like, it didn't make sense, but then like when I met the people I met, it made perfect sense, you know? And like, and I wasn't supposed to, like, essentially I wasn't even supposed to go to UC Santa Barbara. Like, I applied right the day before, literally an hour before the application was due, and I literally pulled some shit out of my ass and handed it in and never thought about it again because I didn't think I was going to get in, and I literally somehow ended up there, and I met all these people that I was like, oh, this is why I'm here, to be tried. I had actually, one more, I don't know if I've told this story, so I'll tell it one more time, how I manifested moving to LA really very specifically, and it was crazy how I literally picked out the building I wanted to live in. I wrote down my address. I wrote down exactly what I wanted to be doing. Like I said, like the type of job I wanted. I wrote down, and you know what the most specific one was? My ex had to reach out to me and tell me to move here and ask me to move here. But there was all these other weird criteria.
Yeah.
You know, and also I didn't have a resume. I wasn't applying for jobs. None of it.
I'm just moving.
All of a sudden one day someone calls me and they were like, I have the perfect job for you.
It's in LA.
And it was the exact job I wanted. And then all of a sudden my ex texted me, and we hadn't talked in years, or we didn't talk in like a year, text me and was like, hey, and this kid would never ask me for anything, I need you to move here, and blah, blah, blah. And that is how I ended up in LA. And it was weird because it was specifics. Like, I picked out the apartment I lived in. I picked out the job I wanted that I didn't apply to, had no fucking
resume
resume. Literally wasn't even trying to look at jobs. You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing. Like, no actual...
Well, do you know your human design?
I know my gene keys.
To figure out your human
design. Well, I know my human design. Gene keys is the more specific human design.
Oh, okay.
So it's like I have, like, the more developed...
So what are you? Because I'm a manifesting generator.
I am... Oh... That's a good question. I'll let you know.
Because that's where your intuition is supposed to come from, and it like kind of tells you the exact way that you are able to manifest and do your affirmations the best way. Like, if I write something down and I say it out loud, it will happen way more than just thinking about it, or it'll happen way more than just saying it out loud or just writing it down. So like the way that you manifest kind of comes from like figuring out what your human design is, so you can know where to manifest from.
Well, actually, it's so funny. I get into this with my healer a lot because we go, well, he studies gene keys, and I study gene keys too, and gene keys is like the more developed version of human design. It's like a variation off of it.
Yeah.
And your gene keys gets like very specific. Next time you're in my apartment, I have the whole book on it, and we could like break down your whole thing.
Fuck yeah.
But basically, like, it's so interesting because there's a lot of elements to your gene keys. And it so there's basically how you show up if you're healed, and like how it manifests if you're not healed. And it's crazy because, like I was saying, my neighbor, the one that lives above me, our gene keys are exactly the same. Besides, there's like 2 elements on it that are different, and there's probably like 10 things on it.
Yeah.
The only reason, and the reason we don't like each other so much is because he's the unhealed version of me.
Well, that's usually when you don't like someone. It's because they either A, have become accepting of something of themselves that you can't accept in yourself, or B, they are showing you traits that you already don't like about yourself that you're getting mirrored back at you. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't like a stranger. What the fuck don't you like about that person that you don't know anything about? But yeah.
Anyways, thank you for coming.
We took you down a crazy road. We told you about affirmations and human design and
we started
past
getting
lives.
Fucking spooky.
And
so then we'll have another episode where we get extra spooky, and maybe I'll admit to some things that I don't like to admit to. But
yeah, what's up? I'm Tori 212 Green. Thank you for listening.
And I am Caitlin. Thank you.
Bye. Oh, we didn't even tell them to like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe,
and
motherfucker.
Give us a 5-star review, bitch. Thanks. Bye.
I'm a bitch, I'm a boss. I'm a bitch and a boss. I'm a shine like